ready. This is going to be exciting.
And we got a couple restart zone to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Welcome back, Goat Locker race fans. From our 1-week hiatus, week 6 is here, and the Operation Valor Truck Series drivers are ready to rock. Yes, that pun is intended as we are at Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina. Hello, everybody, and welcome inside the V-Speed booth. I'm Logan Threlkeld, and joining me tonight, as always, Sky Shrek and Eddie Smith behind the scenes, working the controls as our producer. Sky, I don't know about you, but that was a long 2 weeks. Glad to have you back. How you doing tonight?
It was. This is going to be a really good one. I'm so excited to be back with Goat Locker Racing. We had so many great races to start the season. Kansas, Vegas, Daytona was fun as well. It's been a long 2 weeks without any of their classic Goat Locker Racing finishes, but I hope we're going to get a good one here tonight.
We most certainly will. It's been no shortage of action this season so far. Last race, Las Vegas, Levi McCarty taking home the win. This week at Rockingham, it's going to be a totally different story. We haven't had one of these 1-mile tracks yet, and Rockingham being one of the tougher tracks at this length, very bumpy out there with kind of an oddball shape as well. But Rockingham tonight, Lime Rock next week. We're in for a good portion of the schedule here.
Yeah, if you like rocks, you're going to have a great time the next 2 weeks. There you go. It turns 22 and 25 degrees here at Rockingham Speedway. It's a very high banked track for being only a mile long. A little bit kind of like a longer Bristol, or a little more reminiscent of that with its, 1 mile length, but higher banking, kind of like Richmond as well. It's a really fun track. It's one that's coming back to NASCAR, hopefully, here in the future, and we have it back already tonight with Goat Locker.
That's going to be a good one here. You can see just nearly how highly banked those corners are just from this top-down image. But once we get some trucks on the track, a perfect shot right there of just how steep the banking is in the corners. But we've got some points to talk about finally, Sky. What do you say we break this down here? Jake Ham with 2 wins on the season. That's going to be at Iowa and Milwaukee. Patrick Drabick took home the win at Daytona to start the season. Jeremy Gardner got the Kansas win. And last time we were live here on Friday night, Levi McCarty at Las Vegas. Jake Ellingson, he's in a good spot, sitting in 5th in the points, followed up by Timothy Peters, just 2 points shy. Michael Kostick there, up 13 from the current cut line. Michael McCarthy sitting right behind him, 2 points behind. Mike Browning just 1 point behind McCarthy. Josh Lokenvitz, Chance Taylor, and Steve McDonald will make out the rest of your top 12 drivers for this cut line. But let's send it over to our Navy vet, Jared Ashley, for our national anthem. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you once again, Jared Ashley, for that rendition of our nation's anthem. But Sky, our qualifying effort is complete. Let's get right into our grid and take a look at who took our Jam Printing and Promotions Poll Award, the 24 of Levi McCarty, last week's, or 2 weeks ago, winner with a 23.454. George Jewell in the 36 to his outside, not far behind with a 23.465. Row 2 is going to be the 49 of Craig Bontrager on the inside, Barrett Morton in the 9 on the outside. Jeremy Gardner in the 42 starts in the third row on the inside next to Jacob Ellingson in the 27. Timothy Peters in the 46 starts out 7th here, one of his better qualifying efforts this season, next to the 66 of Jamie Mullins. 9th will be Jamie Barkis in the 15 machine next to Jake Ham in the 87.
Outside of the top 10 tonight, 11th is going to be Tyler Justice in the 33. Chance Taylor on his outside in the 14. Mike Browning rolls off 13th in the 4. Matt Knights 14th in the 64. James Kaufman rolls off 15th in the 25. James Goshen on his outside in the 85. Row 9 tonight is going to be Stephen McDonald in the 68 and 17th. Chuck Feltz in the 75 in 18th. And in last row of your top 20, Brandon Wallace, 19th in the 99. Michael McCarthy, 20th in the 22.
11th row of the field here tonight will be Michael Seymour in the 37 on the inside, the 78 of David Duke to the outside. And one more to go. It's the 07, Patrick Drabick, starting out at the back of the field. He's going to have a long way up to the front here tonight. Sky, we're rocking and rolling out here. Trucks are moving. It'll be just momentarily before we see some green flag action out here tonight. 100 laps on the board, 40 miles per hour down the pit road speed limit. 4 tire sets available. That'll be 1 on the truck, 3 over the wall with 2 green-white checkered attempts at the end of the race. 100% fuel load here tonight, and a Makoni fixed setup on these Craftsman trucks. Sky, give us a quick rundown of what to expect here for this track.
One thing that caught my eye that you mentioned there, Patrick Drabick won a race this season at Daytona. He's had speed every week. He's starting last. I want to see if he's going to be able to get up through the field here, see if he can contend for the podium by the time we're through 100 laps.
Strategy could be very important for the 07 team here tonight, but pace truck is off into the InVets restart zone. We go, green flag away. and we are ready to go. Levi McCarty leads lap number 1 here in North Carolina. George Jewell hot on his trail, but it's a battle for about that 5th position here. Jake Ham, Timothy Peters going back and forth. Peters on the outside, Ham on the inside, not giving any room to one another right now.
And you can see already just how fast this track really is on the high banks here. Really easy to build up a lot of speed. You don't often see cars going upwards of 160 miles an hour into the corners on a 1-mile track, but that's what these drivers are doing right now. It's only 3 laps in.
On board right now with the 87 of Jake Ham. They finally got things sorted out between the 87 and the 46. Timothy Peters was able to get ahead of Jacob Ellingson there as well in the 27. You're going to see a little bit of a mixture of lines being used here tonight. That low line will be your tire saver and ultimately a little bit more grip, but you're not going to have too many passing opportunities underneath the car in front of you. As long as they keep it down tight on that yellow line, you really have to force the issue around the outside.
Yeah, and you can make those runs on the inside if you run the top, because that helps you get more speed out of the corner. You can do a switchback where you run the top through the corner, come out behind the car, but you jump it back down the straightaway, and that lets you get that inside lane. A couple different strategies up here in the front. You're watching George Jewell right there in second. He's working it right around the bottom in 3 and 4. Levi McCarty, exact opposite, running right up on that wall. It's holding him the lead for now, but like you said, might be a little worse on tires in the long run.
And from my knowledge of this track, Sky, that high line can be rather treacherous as you get into a longer stint, especially under green flag conditions. It gets pretty bumpy up there. Once you throw the marbles into the mix from all these other trucks on track, it's a different type of animal trying to run the high line here at Rockingham.
Absolutely. It still kind of has some of those characteristics of a short track where you get those marbles up high, and it can make it a little difficult to run here. Levi McCarty out front, you're seeing the onboard right there. He's led every lap so far of this race, and he won last race as well, so he's trying to make it 2 in a row here. Still very early, but he's going back down to the bottom to try to hold his lead over George Jewell.
A long race to decide a winner here tonight, but McCarty setting that Jam Printing and Promotions pole. He put himself in a great spot to just run this race as long as he can in the lead, minimize your mistakes, and come out with back-to-back wins, making himself the second 2-time winner this season, which is the complete opposite of what we saw in Season 8, where it took about 10 races before we saw any sort of a repeat winner. Barrett Morton now up on the high side. He's got the 42 of Gardner down below him. You do get a little bit more of a run out of the corner, not as much as what you would see from other short tracks like Bristol, Dover, Martinsville, where you can see that high line really pick up some speed across the back and the front stretch. Right now, it's still pretty even with the current tire wear.
Barrett Morton's having his best run of the season up here in the top 3. He's had a really good start to this race. He qualified well, too. That's kept him up here. A couple cars further back have had some issues. Timothy Peters working in 6th, smacked the wall pretty hard on that right side. He's going to be hoping he doesn't have any damage on it so he can keep his car in that fight. But for now, we're mostly single file, and a lot of these cars are running the inside, so he shouldn't have too much of an issue with hitting the wall here, at least in this front pack.
That driver we mentioned at the beginning to keep an eye on, starting from the back of the pack, the 07 of Patrick Drabick already up 3 positions from where he was. Make it number 4 as he makes his way around the outside of the 99. Brandon Wallace back down in front of him. Very clean move there from the 07 machine.
He's getting it done. We've seen him on the podium quite a few times this season. We've seen him in victory lane once. We know he's one of the fastest drivers in this series. Even starting out back, he's very clearly got the speed, and now trying to set up a move on his next victim, David Duke, in the 78.
For Drabic, this race is going to be all about keeping the nose clean. Try to minimize your damage here. You don't want to make the contact with the wall. It's not like Darlington where it's kind of forgiving. Once you get in the wall here, it'll keep you up there. And it'll pull you back a couple spots as well.
Yeah, and you go out of the corners with so much speed and at such an angle that you can really smack that wall on the right side. Not too hard to take damage in these cars when you hit it with that right front.
A little bit out of shape there, just ahead. That's the 85 of James Goshen. He's now stuck down on the inside line as Drabic looks to the inside of David Duke. Duke way up on the racetrack, kind of gets the nose chopped off there by the 68 of Stephen McDonald. Nowhere to go. We're doing all right back here. So we've got 4 cars under a blanket. This will be for the 16th position.
And this is going to hurt Drabic. Well, he's going to get a little bit of an advantage here because that 68 of Stephen McDonald got real loose out of the corner. But having all these cars in front of him, it's going to make it more difficult for him to get through the field, especially right when they're running single file, or my bad, double file like they were. There's not really a lane to make a move here. David Duke is going to get around the 25 car of James Kaufman. Drabic's going to try to follow him through. We'll see if he can do it in the 1.
Duke had a fantastic move there. Kind of faked high into the corner entry. Then brought it back down to that apron. Yeah, that was a very clean pass there by the 78 machine.
He got it done. He's another driver who started at the back. Started out back in 22nd tonight, so only 1 spot ahead of Drabic. He's +6, up from 22nd to 16th. The biggest mover so far this race.
Still looking on board here with Drabic. A little bit of action up towards the front of the pack around Jake Ham. He's getting close to having an opportunity on the 66 of Jamie Mullins. Not quite far enough alongside to get to the inside on corner number 1.
No, they're staying single file down the straightaway for now. I think as this run goes on, you'll start to see cars wear out the tires, get a little looser, and that'll create some good side-by-side action. Right here, this is going to potentially be a move here. This is right in front of these cars. The 46 of Timothy Peters running ahead of Jamie Mullins right there.
Mullins and Ham both closing the gap on the 46 there. You see Mullins not quite to the back bumper, but he's close enough on the inside. If he can get a good run off of a corner here, get side by side with the 46, that'll surely be a pass this early on in the race. No reason to fight it. Looking off the back of TJ Peters now. There's the look to the inside for Mullins. Couldn't quite carry the speed into the corner, but it sends Peters high up on the track. Mullins unable to get around just yet. Peters with a little bit of a connection issue there. Luckily not close to making any sort of contact with anybody else. That could be a dangerous situation there, especially on a short track.
No, I bet that scared Jamie Mullins a lot too, and that car suddenly disappeared from out in front of him. A little bit of a scare there. Timothy Peters has kind of dropped it to the back after those iRacing issues. He's fallen back to, I believe, about 11th place now. iRacing setting him back as he dropped connection there for a pretty substantial amount of time. Jamie Mullins, though, right back on the charge. He's now looking at Barrett Morton running in 5th. And we got a side-by-side up ahead with George Jewell and Barrett Morton.
A little bit of a bobble there for the 9 machine. That's going to allow Ham to close that gap into the inside here in turn number 1. Mullins all over the back bumper of Ham. Nearly contact there on the entry. The 66 able to slow it down just enough to avoid that. But looks like Barrett Morton found some speed to keep it in front of the 87 machine.
And Jake Ham, another big mover, up 4 spots from 10th to 6th. He's shown good pace early in this race. Another one of our guys who's done really well this year. He's had a lot of speed and got a win at both Milwaukee and Iowa. looking to try to get his third of the season here tonight.
Our only repeat winner at that, but 3 wide right here with Craig Bontrager on the bottom. The 15 of Jamie Barkus. I believe that is the 14 of Taylor on the outside?
He is up there on the outside right there running an 8th. All the way up on the top, that's the 15 of Jamie Barkus right behind Mo Carr in the wall. Barrett Morton just pounded that outside wall. He's going to drop several spots here, losing out to Jake Ham, Jamie Mullins, maybe Chance Taylor here as well. Big drop for Barrett Morton.
Morton was able to pick back up on the speed there before the 14 got around, but losing 2 or 3 positions there with that bobble.
Doesn't look like he's got too much damage on the right side, at least from this angle, but definitely a wall hit there.
That's one of those things I was mentioning earlier. Once you get up into the wall here, it really just tries to hold you there. It's very, very hard to get off of the wall without spinning the truck around. Barrett Morton was able to do that. Nearly contact from behind. The 14 of Taylor into the wall. Nearly got contact from the 49 of Bontrager. Man, things are getting tight up here on the back half of the top 10.
Bontrager hasn't had a great start to this race. He started P3, has gone back to P10, trying to recover, get himself back up into the top 5 here. Still dropping a little bit off that 14 car, Chance Taylor, and we're still side by side for 7th. Barrett Morton on the top, Jamie Barkus on the bottom.
It looked like Barkus maybe got a little loose there, but not enough to hinder the speed. The 14 of Taylor now door to door. And we've got a caution on the track.
Timothy Peters, I believe. Oh, no, he's just slow.
Yeah, that is the 78 of David Duke, who was up 11 positions before this incident. Started at the back of the pack, got way up here, nearly into the top 10. Let's take it back and see what happened to the Duke. Side by side with Patrick Drabick. Drabick loose off of the corner. Contact just came back up on the track, trying to gather the 07. Luckily, the 78 not making contact with the wall. Not a whole lot of damage there on that machine, but a lot of ground lost.
And he hit the wall a little before that, too, which is going to hurt him even more here. He's going to need to try to get that fixed here under caution.
Pace laps are short at a short track, so he's got to manage that and keep an eye on where the pace truck will be so he can get back out in front, not lose a lap here trying to get any damage repaired. I don't believe he's going to have too much to where he has to stay in the box a long time, but nearly the entire field now down pit road.
And I would like to note, Timothy Peters came down pit road with some internet issues. That's why he was showing as slow. He's gone 3 laps down in the pits trying to fix his connection. Tyler Justice also out of the race early.
Oh, that was a close one there between McCarty and the 42 of Gardner. I believe Gardner might have gotten ahead there on pit exit.
I think he did.
He's staying out in front like he did back on the V-Speed replay here. We'll see if we can get this timed out just right. Slow it down. And oh my goodness, that's so close. I can't even tell.
Gardner's out in front of McCarty right now. We're going to see if he lets that car around him. I don't think he will, so I think iRacing sold the 42. He is your new leader for the first time this race.
That is incredible. That had to be within just thousandths of a second. I might be wearing glasses, Sky, but I don't think that my eyesight's that bad. That was a close one.
It does not get any closer than that. That is for sure.
But we're doubled back up now. It'll be Gardner taking the green flag this time. McCarty to the outside. Ellingson and Ham in row 2. Barkus, Morton, row 3. George Jewell, Chance Taylor, row 4. Jamie Mullins, Craig Bontrager will make up the row 5. Pace truck lights are out. Will be green this time by. This will be interesting. First restart of the race. Everybody's got some laps in now. We've got everybody out here with fresh tires. Into the InVets restart zone we go. Gardner with a late start, but a good strategy as he gets a big jump out ahead of Levi McCarty.
And that jump is so big, it might pull Jacob Ellingson back there alongside him. He's gotten to go side by side with McCarty, and if he can push his way through, it'll send McCarty all the way back to third. He doesn't have the run out of the corner, though, with McCarty running the very top of the racetrack, and that might help keep that 24 out in front. It will. Now Jake Ham's on the charge with Ellingson.
McCarty's been comfortable up top. I don't expect him to change that line, especially with some fresh tires. But Jake Ham now to that bottom line. Ellingson trying to make the top line work, but lost some ground there to Ham as they were side by side coming down the backstretch. Ham with the advantage right now through turns 3 and 4. Big loose down on the bottom line. The 87 is going to lose that ground that he had, but fortunately enough, keeps the position from being lost to Barrett Morton.
And we got to move for the lead. Levi McCarty up the inside of Gardner. We know McCarty can make that top work. He's changed it up, making the bottom work as well. And now Jacob Ellingson's trying to come with him for P2. He's working not just on Gardner, but now he's going to try to get a move going on McCarty if he can get the run off into the corner.
Ellingson was looking for the 2-for-1, but ultimately fell back door to door now with Gardner again. Gardner with the run around the outside. Ellingson just not quite there enough. Oh, goodness. This is going to be tight coming off the corner. They're starting to carry some more speed through these corners. You'll start seeing these trucks push up the track, but Gardner with a great run to get back to the back bumper of McCarty. Looking to the inside here. But again, McCarty so comfortable running that high line. He's going to get the momentum out of turn number 2 and keep it in front of the 42.
And these cars are going so fast at this 1 mile track. McCarty down into the corner that time was going 165. He's going to go even faster here because the curve on the straightaway means he's got a longer run, peaking just under 170 at a 1 mile racetrack for Levi McCarty.
This is a very fast, short track here. It puts on some phenomenal racing. What's the temperature, you might ask, Guy? Well, 89 degrees on the track and 70 degrees for ambient air temperature. So it's going to be a good one for a lot of grip. If we get some cloud coverage here or that sun starts to go down at all, it could be a game changer for some of the strategy out here on the tires.
Absolutely. Tire life is going to be so dependent on how you push them as well. Levi McCarty, he's pushing them a little bit more on the top compared to Gardner, who feels more comfortable running the bottom. And we've seen that work more than once this year. Gardner has made time and has, I believe he almost won a race by running it right on the bottom where everybody else was trying to run the top. So we know this can happen. We saw it from Gardner's win at Kansas. Let's see if history repeats itself here tonight.
While we've got some single file action, I'd like to take a moment to thank one of our sponsors here on Friday night. That'll be Lincoln Tech, as you see on the 27 of Ellingson. Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses. They are the title sponsor of the Spring Series, a very large partner of Goat Locker Racing. Ellingson doing his best right now to represent for Lincoln Tech, sitting in third with a chance to get up to either the first or second position, not far behind right now of Jeremy Gardner.
Ellingson started in row 3 in that 6th spot. He's gotten it up 3. He almost got it up a little more there in that side-by-side battle he had with Gardner, but he's having to relax back in third for now. Jake Ham running about 2.5 seconds behind him. That's another car with a lot of speed that can win races. A lot of great drivers up here. 3 of our top 4 are race winners this year.
And even more behind them that were race winners last season. A lot of competition here on these Friday nights. A win is rather prestigious in this truck series.
Absolutely. Jake Ellingson's the only driver up here who hasn't gotten a win so far. Right now, we're looking at Chuck Phelps running back in 18th. You can see the onboard here of him in just a second. He's looking ahead at James Kaufman there in the 25. Mike Browning A little further up the road in the 4, Chuck Phelps started 18th, running 18th, right where he started.
A little bit of an issue there with Peg Leg's camera. Normally, we'll see those guns ablazing. But right now, he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get up to a top 10.
He does, still struggling back there with Kaufman. It's about 4 seconds right now from where Phelps is to the last car in the top 10, which is Jamie Mullins.
So McCarty with a good advantage at the moment, a little bit over a half a second. Patrick Drabick, he's still trying to drive his way through the field. He was up 10 positions before that caution came out with David Duke. Now he's sitting back in 15th here, still up from where he started, but ultimately not quite where he wants to be. Back up towards the front here. It's a battle between all 5 of these drivers.
Yeah, he got sent to the back on that caution, so he's had to go all the way from the back again to get it back up to 15th. It's not been the race Drabick has wanted. We got a battle further up where he would want to be. It's Jake Ham looking on Ellingson. He's really closed that gap. He's running the top. So are Barrett Morton and Jamie Barkus behind. All 3 cars kind of in a row there on the top, trying to close the gap to Ellingson.
Through 3 and 4 there, it looked a little bit like follow the leader, where Ham kind of took a look to stay low behind Ellingson, made that split-second decision to go up to the top. The 9 of Morton, the 15 of Barkas quickly followed.
He's going to look to the inside down here, but he's not going to quite have it down into turn 1. We'll stay side by side as Ham, instead of going to the inside, he'll go back up to the top to try to build that run off the corner. And again, he just doesn't have it. He'll be a little bit on the outside here. Puff of smoke there from someone getting loose in the corner. I think that might have been James Kaufman. Not quite doing it yet, but he's going to have the inside for real this time down into 1.
You got the crossover coming out of turn number 4, finally on the inside for Ham. Ellingson holding it down on the outside, but it's a drag race to turn number 3. Ellingson will get the advantage into the corner. He's got to carry that speed. Barrett Morton ready to pounce. He was all over the back bumper of the 27 there.
He's still all over the back bumper of the 27 trying to get something going. He's going to go back to the top. That seems to be his preferred line down into 1 and 2. And he's going to stay equal with 27 off the corner. And that big run might be what he needs to get that 3rd spot all the way up to the wall through 4 and clear for the 87 of Jake Ham.
Those marbles are getting mighty close for the 87 machine. He was way high up on the racetrack. I don't know how he's handling it up there. That right side completely in the marbles now. Barrett Morton with a very similar line. He's stuck now behind the 27. Big dive to the inside. Contact with Jake Ellingson sends him into the wall, but no caution will be out. Ellingson able to collect it, just losing all sorts of ground, immediately bringing it down to pit road. You can see the frustration in his eyes and a big hit to the pit wall there before entry. That'll be one of our first, possibly. No, it looks like we've got Tyler Justice has exited the race early. Jake Ellingson being the next one to retire.
Second DNF for the race there after a big hit for Jake Ellingson. Not the way he wanted that to go at all.
It didn't quite look like he hit the wall that hard. I can understand, if he had some input into the steering, maybe bent a tie rod there, and that was the reasoning for immediately bringing it down pit road. But damage physically, I don't know. There's a battle back here between the 85 and the 36. That's going to be George Jewell with James Goshen.
And this is for the last spot in the top 10. Goshen running 10th at the minute, trying to hold off that 36 car. We've seen him a little bit further up the field. In fact, George Jewell started this race up in 2nd. He's going to have a long road to get back up there, only running 11th right now, but getting around James Goshen would be the first step in that.
James Goshen, I don't believe we've had a driver camera for him up until this point, but you can see the late. I don't think he's blinked in the last 5 laps.
And you know he's driving hard because you can see that light on his desk is shaking. That's how much he's wheeling this thing around here.
It's a very, very bumpy track down there. And it can be a matter of split second before that rear end comes around. It takes a lot of skill to be able to handle the bumps here at Rockingham.
For sure. It's such an old surface, especially when NASCAR is hopefully going to come back here in real life. Oh, we got a big battle going on. Bontrager into the back of Barrett Morton in the 9. While they were doing that, Jamie Barkas slid right through on the bottom. However, Barrett Morton's got the run on the top, and he's going to be able to go right back to the bottom on that 15 car.
Morton absolutely sending it on the low line there. Couldn't quite keep the rear tires in the grip. So he's going to lose that ground that he just made up on the 15. Now back to the clutches of Craig Bontrager in the 49 on the InVets in-car camera now with Bontrager. Let's take a quick look and just see what it's like to be behind Barrett Morton. See if he can do something here to get around. Nearly contact here on the rear bumper. Very close on corner exit. But right where Bontrager needs to be, a dive to the inside. Let's see if he can make it stick here. It looks like he's side by side now with the 9, with the advantage coming out of turn number 4. But the momentum still on the high side. And a door from the 9. They're both going to be able to keep it straight, but Barrett Morton sent himself high up on the racetrack into 1.
Bontrager sent it up there with him, trying to run him up the road a little bit, but it worked. 49 clear of the 9 for a spot in the top 5. And if you look a little further back, guess who just got into the top 10? It's David Duke.
So David Duke started this race from the very back of the pack with our friend in the 07, Patrick Drabick. Duke with the better run so far, up 13 positions after that contact with the 07 just about 30 laps ago.
It's been a great recovery for him to get himself back up there, better than the one Drabick's had, still stuck back in 15th. This battle's still going. George Jewell is still trying to take it up the inside of Goshen, just hasn't been able to get it done yet.
You can see here on the back of that 78 machine, there's that Save 22 decal. With that said, we'll take a moment here to thank Save 22 for being a sponsor here on our Goat Locker series. Save 22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Our unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. Save. And a big thanks to Save 22 for everything they do here for Goat Locker and in the real world. David Duke doing a fantastic job representing them right now with this big run that he's had. In just 30 laps, really. He had a lot of room to recover.
Almost up in the wall there as he tries to get a run going on the 14 of Chance Taylor. And while he almost hit the wall, it is going to work because he's going to be able to send it up the inside of that 14 car and get the move done. David Duke clear for 8th.
14 of Taylor still right back to the bumper of Duke. That was a very interesting maneuver there. He almost picked up momentum bouncing off the wall and was able to bring it right back down to the bottom and nearly made it a straight line from the middle of 1 and 2 all the way to turn 3. It's not something you see very often, but he's back into the wall again.
Yeah, he scraped the wall there. He's running it so high up in those corners to try to make it a straight shot down the straightaway. We're going to go on his right rear here, and you can see just how far up David Duke is putting that 78 car, trying to make position. He'll run it right back on the wall again here, I think, down into 3 and 4. Look at that, right up there for that 78 car.
Duke on the drive of his life, as I don't think I've seen him have to drive through the entire field yet this season. He's done it in a big contact with the wall that time. Able to collect it back up, doesn't spin out. You have to start worrying about that front right tire and how much damage he's doing to the suspension.
Hey, how about the rear right, too, with how much he's been hitting the wall. Want to give you a little update further up. Oh, incident there for Levi McCarty. He lost about 0.2 of a second. That has allowed Jake Ham to close in. I was about to say, Jake Ham's been the fastest car on the racetrack the last 2 or 3 times around, and with a little wiggle for McCarty out of the corner, that's only going to cut the gap down even more. Jake Ham a 10th faster last lap.
It's right now bouncing back and forth over that 1 second threshold for McCarty to Ham. And then it's even more back to third place. Our top 3 have completely spread apart here. Gardner back 2 seconds from second place.
McCarty's going to lose even more time because he scraped the wall that lap. Oh my goodness, Jake Ham almost 0.2 of a second faster that time around. This 87 car's got the speed. 30 laps to go in this race. He's making a run for the win.
Ham has gotten comfortable on that high line finally. Took him about half the race to do so, but now he's putting down seriously quick lap times compared to some of the other drivers here throughout the field. He's averaging about a half second or better on pretty well everybody from 10th place back.
Barrett Morton's just brought it down pit road in that 9 car. Not sure if that was a scheduled pit stop, if he needed fuel or tires, but he has brought it down pit road. He has put 4 tires on it. He's now running 20th, the only car who's pit.
So you can see on board here with Ham, he's taking kind of a middle line entry into the corner, lets the truck slide up to the wall. It's very similar to how you would run at Darlington. Just a slightly different configuration here. You can see just how treacherous the bumps are, especially into turn number 1. Big dip on that low line. Really unsettle the suspension and cause issues. Ham is doing a great job of handling that.
Yeah, and while Ham continues to reel in that 24 car, I want to tell you about another one of our partners here at Goat Locker Racing. That'll be Operation Valor Racing. They are a race team with the goal of fielding a truck next season in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Veteran-based and focused on helping veterans all across the racing world. They're also heavily involved with many veteran nonprofits to raise awareness and funds. And not just that, but they're also the title sponsor of the series you're watching right now, the Operation Valor Racing Truck Series. Veteran focused as well. They do a lot of great work, and we thank them for what they do for Goat Locker Racing.
Enjoy having them here on the series, but McCarty back into the wall again. That's going to give Ham another big run to catch back up. Ham just outside of that half-second mark to the 24 machine now. It's within grasp. He just has to do a little bit more here. We'll see what the 87 has in store. Just 24 laps to go.
It's not been helped by all these little scrapes to the wall, all these small mistakes that Levi McCarty has had that has allowed Jake Ham to reel him in and get that gap down to 0.6 of a second. He's really put the speed on. He's making great time right now. It's going to be back at about half a second this time at the line. Jake Ham once again almost 0.2 faster. It's a 25.173 for McCarty, a 25.008 for Jake Ham. No one else in the field even went under a 25.2.
It's a lot of speed between these two drivers. Jeremy Gardner, he's been able to pull out about a half second over the 15 machine, so he's got to be in a happy place right now with some clean air. But speaking of clean air, McCarty now catching up to some lap traffic. We'll see, and a big hit to the wall on corner exit. Able to collect it. Matt Knights in the 64. Ooh, that was not what McCarty wanted to see coming out of turn number 2.
No, I'm sure that was a scary moment for that 24 car. Jake Ham closing the gap even further. Another 0.2 taken off that 87 car. So much speed right now. And as we hit 20 to go, Jake Ham is there.
He is as close as he could ask to be right now in the closing 5th of this race. And this one has gone by in a hurry. Only one caution on the night so far. We'll see if we can keep it green to the end. And into the wall goes McCarty once more. Ham didn't really gain as much ground that time. Now he's got a little bit of draft help to assist down the front and the back stretch.
Yeah, well, those little wall hits for McCarty kind of grab him up there. That allows Ham to exit the corner lower and pull more speed out. And he has taken absolute advantage of that, but he has to check up. McCarty hits the wall in front of him, and we've got a caution further back. Chance Taylor is around.
I don't know if that is what McCarty wanted to see in this moment or not. Caution could change everything here. Back on the V-Speed replay. 14. Loose out of turn number 2. Puts the front right back into the wall and straight down to the inside wall. The track not quite wide enough to call that out of the way. Chance Taylor brings out caution number 2 on the night with an accidental self-spin.
And you can see him get loose there. That's what happens when you're 50 laps down into a tire run. You got a lot of wear on these tires, and when you push them as hard as Taylor did, who was running in the top 10, it can just be hard to hold on to it.
So you have to wonder, you know, Ham was catching up to McCarty later in this run. Is McCarty happy to have this yellow come out and put some fresh Goodyear tires underneath this truck? Try to get an advantage there. He seems to have a lot more short run pace. This might be perfect for that 24 machine.
I think that's exactly what he needed. He's got the short run car. There's no disputing that he has that pace. But he had that issue, or he's had that kind of lack of speed on the long run. This is going to be a quick 15-lap burst to the finish. That is exactly the type of thing that favors Levi McCarty. And even better for that 24 car, he's got the best pit stall here.
Here comes the 87 of Ham. He's going to have it. He's got the first spot on the restart. McCarty just unable to get out ahead. We saw it last time with Gardner, who he'll come out in third. This is going to be a race to the finish, Sky.
Absolutely. Jake Ham couldn't get it done on the track, but he will get it done on pit road with 15 to go. And while we're pacing under caution here and getting everybody worked back up, I want to tell you about another one of our partners at Goat Locker Racing. That is Jam Printing and Promotions. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They've been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning. They're local and veteran certified, and when they do well, they do good in the community. And if you've ever seen any of the drivers in this series rocking those Goat Locker Racing hoodies, that's Jam Printing and Promotions in action right there. You see him on Patrick Drabick's car. He's gotten up into the top 10 here.
A fantastic run after starting at the back of the pack at the beginning of the race. The contact with Duke, receiving the EOL for bringing out that first yellow flag, sending the 07 back to the back of the pack. He's gone through them twice. He just has 9 more if he wants to win this race. He's in a dangerous position right now and a threat to all the drivers ahead. We'll see if Drabick has anything in store to make anything happen here. But the pace truck is off. Ham, McCarty on the front row. Green flag in the air. Not quite as good of a jump as last time we restarted this race, but Ham does have the advantage down into turn number 1. And look at this. Jeremy Gardner on the inside of Levi McCarty. He's going to take away the second position immediately.
He's clear for P2, and now on that top, McCarty has to worry about 2 cars. Gardner is going to try to look on Jake Ham. That 87 was expecting the threat from the 24, maybe not so much the threat from the 42. Further back, we're going to go 3 wide down into the corner because Jamie Barkis is in the wall. He's back in the wall again, and we're going to stay 3 wide now with that 4 car, Mike Browning in the middle.
So Drabick up to 8th now after that restart, starting in 10th. Barkis into the wall, hindered his ability to stay in the top 10. Oh, no, he's in 9th. I apologize for that. But right now, it's all about Ham leading this race. Gardner in second, McCarty. He's had that short run speed. He needs to get around the 42 as soon as he can to start chasing down the 87.
A new fastest lap of the race. 87 car at Jake Ham, lap 87. He's got that speed going, and not only does he have the fastest car, but he's running the top. So is Jeremy Gardner in the 42. That's been Levi McCarty's preferred line all race, and as those two cars run up there, it's really giving him some dirty air, hurting his ability to turn. He's going to have a run here on Gardner, and he'll look to the inside for that 42 car. He's got McCarty's preferred line. He's able to defend pretty well.
You hit exactly what I wanted to bring up there. McCarty, he's been running that high line pretty well all race. Gardner's going to take it away from him, forcing McCarty down to the low line and out of his comfort zone. This might be the demise of the 24. As this time by will be 10 to go, with Jake Ham in a dominating position right now, 7/10 away from second place.
Jake Ham, this is exactly what he wants to see, because as he ticks over to 10 to go, he's got a 7/10 of a second lead. He's faster than Gardner. He knows that for sure, and the only car that he thinks might have a chance to challenge him can't get around Gardner. He's stuck behind that 42. As these three pull away from fourth place Craig Bontrager, Jake Ham looking in pretty good position.
McCarty still trying to find a way around the 42. Finally gets a look at the outside, but he's hard in the wall out of 2. And that might be it for the 24 machine for a run for the lead. Jeremy Gardner has an opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't look now. Gardner's closing that gap. He's gotten it down to 0.4 of a second. Jake Ham might have used it up a little much, because last time around, Jeremy Gardner was 2.5 tenths quicker than that 87 car. He might not be out of it yet. We're going to be 7 to go at the line this time. That's 7 laps for Jeremy Gardner to close 0.4 of a second.
He can do it. He's just got to manage the tires as best as he can while gaining that ground. It's hard to do, but Gardner, the Season 8 champion for a reason. We'll see if he has something in store, or if this is going to be Ham's third win on the season. He got 3 last season, but it was way later than where we're at now.
And Jake Ham,
the wall hard out of turn number 4 there. This is going to give Gardner a good run.
I was about to say Jake Ham dropping the hammer. He was going to be faster the last 2 laps, but that wall hit cut him about 1.5 tenths. That meant Gardner was faster that time around, and that also meant he got the gap down under 0.4 of a second. Another mistake like that for Jake Ham could be catastrophic, because the 42 is right there.
And 5 to go as Jake Ham crosses the line. Still up just under a half second here. Gardner needs all of the run that he can get. McCarty still sitting in third. Bontrager, Jewel, Mullins, Duke, Barkas, Drabick, McCarthy make up your top 10. But it's all about what's going on up here at the front. 4 to go.
And everybody's running as close to the wall as you can go. At the start of this race, we saw these drivers prefer the bottom. Now everybody's all over that wall. Same with these top 3. Everybody's all in line. It's just going to be a pure battle of speed on that high side, and a big hit to the wall for Jeremy Gardner as he crosses for 3 to go. That might be it.
Gardner not at all what he needed there, but McCarty able to start closing the gap now within 0.2 of a second of second place. We'll see if he has anything for us here to make a move on the 42. Put himself back up ahead here. Takes a look to the inside across the front stretch, back in line here. McCarty wants that high line. Gardner takes it away. Both of them into the wall here. And Jake Ham loving what he's seeing right now in that rearview mirror. A battle for second place is exactly what he wants. As he'll come around, white flag will be in the air. Jake Ham, 1 more to go before he takes the win. Gardner, McCarty side by side behind. McCarty on the inside. Gardner high up on the track. And around the backstretch we go. He's got 1 more opportunity to do something about it. The 42 takes away that middle and high line, forcing McCarty out of the gas. And it's going to be Ham coming across for the checkered flag and the win at Rockingham.
Jake Ham gets it done at the Rock. for his 3rd win of the season. He's won race 2, he's won race 4, and now he's won race 6. Iowa and Milwaukee were his last 2 wins as well. So he seems to have a little bit of a thing for these 1-mile tracks.
Jake Ham loves the short track racing. And that 87, we're going to see a big burnout for Bennett here as he takes his 3rd win on the season. We'll let Jake Ham celebrate to his heart's desire. But we're going to send it to a commercial break here. Then we'll be right back for our post-race coverage and interviews with our top 3. Stick around. You don't want to miss what these guys have to say.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
And we're back live for our post-race coverage of Rockingham. But first, let's give a shout out to our Warrior Spotlight for February, Daniel Crackeel. Daniel has been an EMT with AMR in St. Louis for 6 years. In addition to providing private 911 and transfer services, he is a part of AMR's emergency response team. He is deployed for 22 weeks to Chicago and New York to provide support during COVID, as well as the Eastern Tennessee and Northern Carolina area for hurricane relief. Dan also serves as an admin here in Goat Locker Racing. And thank you, Dan, for all that you do to serve your community and us here at Goat Locker. A fantastic person at that. Love getting an opportunity to talk with Daniel. Just a great guy all around. Let's roll right into our post-race results here. We'll get our finishing order. Or we'll go right into interviews, rather, with our first place finisher, Jake Ham. Woo! And Jake, 17 laps led, but most importantly, the last one. You've had a fantastic start to the season, where last season we saw you with 3 wins, but later on, this time, it's week 6, and you've taken 3 out of the first 6 races.
We are burning it down, man. This is going to be a good season. And I do have to give a shout out to Levi. Levi was running a heck of a line there. And I pulled it, and I just followed Levi to the glory, to the finish, you know? So it was good.
Well, we saw you kind of migrate from that bottom line to the top line there about midway through the race. Is that because of the 24 machine having that high line advantage?
Yeah, I honestly thought I was doing okay. You know, I didn't qualify good. I came out too late, so I didn't get to finish my second lap, unfortunately. And so I driving up through the field, you know, I think I was like 3rd or 4th, and I was like, where's the leader? And I look up and Levi's 5 seconds ahead. I was like, what's going on here? And so I just happened to glimpse, I don't have my graphics, you know, all the way turned up, but every once in a while I'd see him pop up high in the corners, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way that line's sticking. And so I gave it a go, a couple laps, and, you know, banged the wall a couple times, but got it figured out. And then that last caution there, is kind of a fortunate ordeal for me. I've been practicing my pit stops, and I beat him coming out, and I think that's my saving grace there.
That was my next question for you. On that last pit cycle there with the caution, you were able to get ahead by about a half a car on pit exit. I was
Mhm.
going to ask how important that was to you, but you pretty well already hit it. So we'll migrate to something else here. Like I mentioned, we saw you with 3 wins last season. Now you've got 3 this season. Last season, a little bit of an issue getting into the playoff format, but this time you're set and ready to rock. How are you feeling with these 3 wins so early on? And what do we have to keep in mind coming into the playoffs here for the 87 team?
Yeah, man, I'm just super pumped. I'm very grateful for the team that I race with. I run with Mike and James, and our goal every week is to get Bennett on the broadcast. Everything that we're trying to raise money for him and everything. We're pushing hard. I'm trying to be a lot more aggressive on my runs. Before, I take it easy, the long run, play the long game out. And I'm just being a little bit more aggressive up front than what I used to be in the past. And I think it's playing out really well for me, but I'm gunning for it, man. My goal is to take as many wins as I can away from everybody else. So that way they can't or they can't win their way in. They got to race by points to get in. So I'm trying to take all the spots I can.
You're doing a great job of that. And, just to, recap there on last season, we saw you win at IRP, Pocono, and then of course the last race of the season, Darlington. That was kind of a nail in the door for you to say, I'm here. Don't forget about me next season. And you've done a fantastic job kicking off season 9. So
Yeah.
Jake Ham, a great race tonight, up 9 positions, taking home the win. Is there anybody you'd like to say thanks to?
Yeah, I appreciate everybody that stops by, watches the broadcast. I love my family stopping by, watching. Obviously, our big sponsors, we got Lincoln Tech, Save 22, title sponsor of the series, and Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs. And then Mike Browning throwing out some awesome paint schemes for us. You as well. I love going back, watching the streams. Appreciate you guys being here every week and dealing with us and all the shenanigans that we pull. And Go Locker, for hosting, and their mission to providing for vets. I appreciate what they do. And just everybody that turns out every week.
Well, congratulations once more, Jake. Go celebrate, buddy. We'll see you next week for some road course action.
Thank you, sir.
Jake Ham, everybody, taking home the win here at the Rock. Standing by now, we've got Sky Shrek with Jeremy Gardner in second place.
Hey, Jeremy, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
You seemed out of it for the top 2 until that last caution. What was going through your head when that yellow came out?
Well, I'm typically a low line racer, and I sat back most of the night just trying to run the low line, thinking, hey, these guys are on a high line. They're going to burn their stuff up. But I don't know. For some odd reason, that high line tonight just, I don't know, it didn't eat tires. So, I don't know. Towards the end right there, I was, just start running their line right there and to see if I could gain on them. But I don't know. It didn't work out. I kind of expected to finish about 5th tonight. I'm hit or miss here at Rockingham. Fun track. 2 cautions here tonight. Pretty impressed with the group.
All right, well, tell me about that last restart there after the yellow, where you started 3rd, but you were able to jump Levi McCarty to get up into 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, I knew track position was going to be everything. High line dominant here. I was just going to at least try to get behind Jake right there and see if I could make some kind of run, but I couldn't stay consistent on that high line to save my life. So I'll take 2nd place. It is what it is. I mean, I've had a consistent season so far, so I'm definitely going to take it tonight. Hell of a race tonight for sure.
Yeah, and lastly, talk to me about that battle at the end. It looked like you had a shot at Jake Ham there, but you just scraped the wall a little late in the race.
Yeah, typical me, getting that late race adrenaline in me. That's when I start making mistakes. That's my only downfall during these Friday night series races. So yeah, I kept hitting the wall, kept scrubbing the wall. And I mean, honestly, if I could have stayed consistent right there, I think I could have been on his rear bumper and could have made something happen towards the end possibly, but he just drove away there. Me and Levi started battling, but that was definitely a lot of fun.
Hey, let me tell you, you were far from the only car hitting the wall tonight. Anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, Pat and Jamie always appreciate them. GLR, hell of a group, man. They do a lot for the veteran community. I appreciate everything they do for the veteran community. I wasn't going to do it tonight, but I want to give a big shout out to my baby Patrick Allmendinger, if he's out there listening right now. Jam Printing Promotions, one of my sponsors, Operation Valor. Appreciate them putting on the series this year. Above the yellow line, another one of my sponsors, and Alexander PCs, and of course y'all V-Speed. Y'all put on a hell of a broadcast every single week.
All right, congrats on P2 tonight, Jeremy Gardner.
Appreciate y'all.
Well, I was talking to him. I think we've also caught up here with third place Levi McCarty. Hey, Levi.
How's it going, guys?
I want to know, firstly, were you excited when that caution came out with how Jake Ham was closing in on you?
Yeah, I was stoked because if it was going to go green there, I felt like he was going to get around me pretty easily. I think we had maybe 18, 19 laps left. So yeah, I was really excited to get that, and then went down, and I kind of babied it into the box, and he beat me off pit road, and that's the margin of error in this series with these guys. Like, you got to attack pit road, and if you're just off by a little bit, a dominant night turns into a third place. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell me about those last 15 laps there from the restart to your battle with Jeremy Gardner.
Yeah, I felt like I got a really good restart, really good jump. Just couldn't stay on his right rear quarter panel on entry, and then Gardner, I mean, he drove it in really good on the bottom and was able to get up in front of me. And that was the first I had been in dirty air all night, so it took me a couple laps to kind of adjust and gain my composure. And then I just had no chance for those guys. Those two are really, I mean, they're really good, and they figure out the same line you're running, and you've been doing that the entire race, and then all of a sudden you have to pass them on that line. It's just tough. So yeah, I'm happy for third place. Yeah, I was really, I'd be lying if I wasn't thinking about, as those runs were going, like, man, if I could dominate 2 races in a row in this league, that would be incredible. But sometimes that's just how it goes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know you got a good podium finish. You're locked into the playoffs, but does it sting a little when you led 80 of the 100 laps tonight and you couldn't get the W?
Yeah, for sure. And Jake, amazing driver. Jeremy, same deal. Those guys are really good. So, yeah, third place, it stings, but we'll move on to next week and we'll try to do it again.
All right, well, congrats on P3 tonight, Levi McCarty.
Appreciate it. Yeah, just real quick. I think above the yellow
line. Go ahead,
line.
I forgot.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's Sim Motion, GLR as a whole. I run a lot of nights. I think I'm running like 4 nights, and these guys are amazing. It's really a great place to come and race. And yeah, I just appreciate everything they do. And Operation Valor, obviously the title sponsor of the series. Definitely a great time coming in on Friday night. So I appreciate everything they do for the league.
All right, now congratulations, Levi McCarty. Go celebrate.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and with him out of the way, we are going to get into our results here, I believe.
Yeah, we'll get our finishing results up on the screen. Obviously, already talking to our top 3. Jake Ham with the win on the night. Jeremy Gardner in second. Levi McCarty takes home third. Fourth place goes to Craig Bontrager, followed up by George Jewell in the 36. Jamie Mullins in the 66 will take the 6th spot. That's a whole lot of 6s in a row. Jamie Farkas follows behind in 7th. David Duke had to drive all the way through the field up 14 positions to finish in 8th. Same as Patrick Drabick in the 07, also up 14 positions in 9th. Last but not least in our top 10 is the 22 of Michael McCarthy.
And outside your top 10 tonight, 11th, James Kaufman in the 25. Stephen McDonald, 12th in the 68. Michael Seymour, 13th in the 37. Mike Browning, 14th in the 4. Chuck Phelps rounds out your top 15 tonight in the 75. With Brandon Wallace in the 99 and 16th. Matt Knights in the 64 brings it home 17th as the last car in the lead lap. And following up from there, 1 lap down, Barrett Morton in the 9. 2 laps with internet issues is Timothy Peters in the 46. Chance Taylor, 4 laps down, 20th in the 14.
Just 3 to go. The 21st position goes to James Goshen, 19 laps down with an early exit. Jacob Ellingson in 22nd after the contact with the wall, and then bring it down pit road, contact once more. Last but not least, in our 23 car field on the night is the 33 of Tyler Justice. He was not out on the track very long. Unfortunate night for the 33 team. But overall, a fantastic race here once more. But next week, we go to a road course, Sky.
Yeah, from the Rock to Lime Rock Park next week. You're going to be turning right instead of left, and it's a track, unlike Rockingham, with a lot of elevation change as well. It's going to be a good one.
Lime Rock Park, a very dominant right-hand turning race. So we'll see how these drivers can switch up from constantly turning left to turning left and right. But for everybody behind the scenes at Goat Locker, Patrick Drabick, Jamie Barkus, and everybody else back there, and everybody behind the scenes at V-Speed, Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper, of course our producer tonight, Eddie Smith, and my colleague in the booth, as always, Sky Shrek. My name is Logan Threlkeld. Thank you for watching tonight's broadcast, and we will see you next week at Lime Rock. Have a good night, everybody.